Now, generally, the rates of chemical reaction increase with temperature. As when the temperature is increased, the rate of chemical reaction increases. This you would have noticed. Say if you are increasing the temperature, the molecules get energy and they break free. That is, the energy required for breaking up the bond is provided, they break and they form the products. The effect of temperature is commonly described in terms of temperature coefficient of the reaction. Now this is the effect of temperature on the rate of reaction is described by temperature coefficient. Now what is this temperature coefficient? We know that the rate of reaction increases with the increase in temperature. But how much? The rate of reaction, it is noticed that the rate of reaction gets doubled. Rate of reaction becomes doubled or gets doubled for every 10-degree rise in temperature. It may be triple also in some cases. Now the temperature, this effect of temperature on the reaction is given by temperature coefficient. The temperature coefficient of a reaction is defined as the ratio of rate constants, as rate of reaction is equal to the rate constant. Rate of reaction is equal to K into the molar concentrations. So the rate constants of the two temperatures differing by 10 degrees centigrade, usually from 25 to 35 degrees centigrade. So what is given is that the temperature, rate constants at two different temperatures which differ by 10 degrees centigrade is compared. So what is temperature coefficient? It is the ratio of rate constants at two temperatures differing by 10 degrees centigrades. It is usually from 25 to 35 degrees centigrades. Right? Now the temperature coefficient of a reaction is equal to rate constant of the reaction, that is T plus 10 Kelvin, divided by the rate constant of the reaction T Kelvin. It is 35 by 25. The rate constants at these two temperatures. This is given by the symbol sign, and that is equal to KT plus 10 by KT. Now we know what is the relationship between the energy and the gas constant, that is R and T and K, of course. So this expression can be written over here. Right? So that is your K. What is K equal to? K is equal to P, the effective collision, and e to the power of minus of EA. This is exponential EA by RT. So taking these as constants, and we are just studying the relationship between temperature. Your K is equal to EA by RT, and this expression can be deduced. The temperature coefficient for most of the reactions lie between 2 and 3. That is, say for every 10 degree rise in temperature, the rate of reaction is doubled. The value of rate constant is doubled, or even it can be tripled. That is, when the value of rate constant is doubled or tripled, the rate of reaction also increases. And by how much factor? It is increasing by the factor of 2 or 3. For every 10 degree rise in temperature near the room temperature. So fine, with the increase in temperature, the rate of reaction increases, and so is the value of rate constant. But what happens is that the rate of reaction is doubled. So let's discuss it, that what are the factors which are making this rate doubled up. So there are theories proposed. This was according to the kinetic theory we'll discuss first, and then according to the Arrhenius one. Arrhenius concept. So according to kinetic theory, So according to kinetic theory, a rise in temperature causes an increase in kinetic energy of the reacting molecules. Right? Say if we are providing heat, if the system is heated or if heat is supplied, what happens? The temperature rises, and that causes the increase in kinetic energy of the reacting molecules. Now as a result, the molecules start moving at greater speeds, and the rate of collision between the molecules also increase. Say the molecules, say I'm taking this, there are gas molecules which are continuously moving, colliding and reacting. Now say this is at the temperature of 35 degrees centigrades. 25, sorry, I can make it 35 also. Now if the temperature is raised to 45 degrees centigrades, now what will happen? The energy of the molecules will increase. Now if the energy will increase, they will start moving at a faster rate and they will start colliding with each other, thus increasing the collisions. Now since the rate of reaction was assumed to depend upon the collisions, now assume that, say, the more is the number of effective collisions, the faster is the rate of reaction. Now this depends on the collision. And we say that we're providing energy, it means the reactants are having the energy equal to threshold energy. With the rise in number of collisions between the molecules, the rate of reaction increases. Now we assume that fine, all the collisions are effective as the molecules are having the energy equal to the threshold energy, and the collision frequency has been increased. So according to kinetic theory, collision frequency, that is Z, is proportional to temperature. We have deduced that expression. Shall I go back to it? So in this case, the rate constant will be, if rate constant will increase when the temperature will increase. See, the negative term is there. So the reaction rate will increase when the temperature will increase. That is, the collision frequency we can say is directly proportional to the temperature. The more is the reaction rate, the more is the collision frequency, and the faster is the reaction proceeding. That is, Z is proportional to square root of T. Now, this is according to the kinetic theory. This is this expression, in the expression the root term is not there. It is according to the kinetic theory that the collision frequency is proportional to the square root of temperature. Now if the temperature is increased from 300 to 310 Kelvin, the ratio of collision frequencies at two temperatures is, say, Z 310 by 300 square root of 310 by 300. So it comes out to be some 1.016. Fine. That is we can say that average kinetic energy is proportional to the temperature. Now if I am taking, this is the collision frequency. Now if I am taking up the kinetic energy thing, the average kinetic energy is proportional to temperature. Now in this case, say the kinetic energy is directly proportional, the average kinetic energy is directly proportional to temperature. This we are talking about the collision frequency. See, the collision frequency is increased by 1.016. It is not doubled. So what should be the percentage increase? Now if I am taking the average kinetic energy also, then the average kinetic energy is increased by 3.3%. Right? So the increase in molecular speed will come out to be some 1.8%, which we have calculated. The effective collisions we have calculated from here. So the effective collision is not doubled. It is just 1.6% is there. We can approximately take it as 1.6%, or it is even 1.1%. These calculations show that collision rate increases by about 1.016%. Okay, I'm taking percentage, it is 1.6% for an increase of temperature by 10 degrees. but experimentally it has been observed that the reaction rate increases by 100% to 200% for 10-degree rise in temperature. That is, the reaction rate is doubled. Right? Say if we do the calculations from the average kinetic energy increase, we find out that the average kinetic energy is increased by 3.3%. Right? Thus the increase in the molecular speed with 10-degree rise in temperature is 1.8%, because see, the kinetic energy is equal to half of mv square. So what is the rise in average kinetic energy? It is 3.3%. So what will be the rise in the velocity or the molecular speed? It will be some 1.8%. But it is also not doubled. Right? So the molecular speed with 10 Kelvin rise in temperature is about 1.8%. So the corresponding increase in number of collisions among the reacting species will be also the same. And if we calculate it from the collision frequency, that collision frequency also comes out to be some 1.6%. What is collision frequency? It is the number of collision that is taking place per second per unit volume of the mixture. Now from where this rise is, the reaction rate is increased by 100 to 200%, and here according to the kinetic theory it is showing that it is increasing by 1.6%. This shows that the rise in the rate of reaction due to a rise in temperature is due to an increase in rate of collisions, but it's not the sole reason. There has to be some other thing also. If it's just the number of collisions which are increasing with the rise in temperature, then we cannot achieve a 200% rise. Then we can't achieve that the reaction rate is doubled. So there is another concept also given by Arrhenius. We'll be discussing about the Arrhenius theory for this doubling of the reaction rate with 10-degree rise in temperature. This according to kinetic theory of reaction rate. What is it? The effect of temperature on the reaction rates could not be explained by kinetic theory. Of course, say according to kinetic theory, there is increase in the reaction rate by 1.6%. Now, based on the observed temperature dependence of the reaction rates, Arrhenius proposed that only those molecules would react to form products which have energy equal to or greater than certain critical energy. That is, which have energy equal to or greater than the threshold energy. He based his explanation on the effect of temperature on the distribution of energy amongst the molecules of reacting system. Say the molecules of gases are there, say at some temperature, say 35 degrees centigrades. Now to these molecules what is provided is energy. The temperature of the reacting system increases. That is, it goes to the 45 degrees centigrade. But is it that every molecule will get similar energy? Is it that there is uniform distribution of energy in the molecules? It is not so. Few molecules will get more energy or few molecules will get less. So Arrhenius proposed that only those molecules will lead to the formation of products which have the energy equal to or greater than the threshold energy or the critical energy. Now every molecule is not getting the similar amount of energy. So there is some fraction of molecules which have energy equal to threshold energy or the critical energy for collision. That is, the increase in the temperature is affecting the fraction of molecules having energy equal to critical energy for collision. That is, it must be doubled. That is, the fraction of molecules having energy equal to threshold energy must be doubled for 10-degree rise in temperature. See, this is the energy distribution curve. On this y-axis there is fraction of molecules, and on the x-axis there is energy of molecules. right? The shaded area, this area gives the fraction of molecules which have energy greater than critical energy for collision. This area shows the fraction of molecules reacting. Now in this graph you can see that in this particular area there are molecules which are reacting, or you can say colliding, but they are not leading to the formation of products. Now in this particular area, see, these are the molecules which have energy greater than the threshold energy or the critical energy required for collision. It means what all molecules are leading to the formation of product? Only this fraction of molecules are colliding and leading to the formation of products. That is, this fraction of molecules are undergoing effective collision. Rest of them are colliding, they are reacting, but they are not leading to the formation of products. Why so? Because they have the energy less than the threshold energy. Now what happens when the temperature is doubled? At any temperature, the number of molecules possessing energy equal to or greater than certain energy, say E, that is the threshold energy, is proportional to the area under the curve beyond that energy. Say this is the energy. Say this is the energy, or this much energy is the minimum energy required to form the products. That is, this much is the minimum energy which reactant molecule should have in order to form the products. Now the number of molecules possessing energy equal to or greater than is directly proportional to the area under the curve beyond that energy. Now this is the energy, or this much amount of energy should be possessed by molecules to form the product. Now that is proportional to the area under this curve. Say at temperature T1, how many molecules were having the energy equal to the threshold energy? This much. At temperature T2, this many molecules, that is, this has been doubled. At temperature T3, this many molecules. Now when the temperature is increased, the distribution gets broadened and the area under the curve beyond E increases. Fine. Say in the previous curve, what is this? That is, the fraction of molecules having the effective energy is proportional to area under this curve. Now when the temperature increases, the area under the curve broadens. As the temperature increases, the area under the curve broadens. Thus, at higher temperature, more molecules would possess energy equal to or greater than certain critical energy. As a result, the reaction rate increases with an increase in temperature. Say this is the fraction of molecules having the energy equal to the threshold energy. Now when temperature is increased by 10 Kelvin, the area has broadened. By again 10 Kelvin, the area has broadened. So what happens that the fraction of molecules possessing or having the energy equal to the threshold energy or critical energy for collision increases, or you can say doubles, when the temperature is raised by 10 Kelvin. So this phenomenon, that is the doubling of the rate of reaction with 10-degree rise in temperature, can be explained by Arrhenius theory. Right? Anyways, only those molecules will collide and form the products which have got energy equal to threshold energy. So when the temperature is double, the number of molecules possessing that particular amount of energy also doubles. That is why the rate of reaction is doubled. The temperature is increased by 10 Kelvin, not double, right? I'm sorry. When the temperature is increased by 10 Kelvin, the molecules possessing the energy equal to the threshold energy doubles, and so the rate of reaction also doubles. So this concept was given by Arrhenius. Thus, according to Arrhenius, the increase in rate of reaction with a rise in temperature is mainly due to the increase in the number of molecules possessing energies equal to or greater than the threshold energy for the reaction. So it is not related to the kinetic energy of the molecules. Kinetic energy concept takes all molecules, a concept that takes that the energy distribution in all molecules is similar, but it is not so. The energy distribution is not the same. The molecules possessing the energy equal to the threshold energy, that differs. The energy distribution is not, that is different. Now this is the concept of activation energy. What is it? Arrhenius proposed the concept of energy barrier and the activation energy to explain these things. That is how the rate of reaction is doubled and what all other concepts over there. See, this is the energy, the products, the reactants and the threshold energy. This is the reaction coordinate. Now in this case, see, the threshold energy is here, that is high energy, and the molecules are possessing this much amount of energy. Now in order for the energy of the molecules to be equal to the threshold energy, some energy is required from outside. Now that particular energy is called as activation energy. You can see that these molecules are possessing some energy. They are colliding, but they will not form the products unless their energy is equal to this threshold energy. So the energy is provided from outside, and that energy is called as activation energy. Now the molecules, they get activated, they combine the product, they combine to form the product, and this is the product, and the energy is released. Say, while formation of a bond, the energy is released. According to Arrhenius, the conversion of reactants into products is not a downslope process. Downslope means this is the process taking place of its own. Instead, the reactant molecules must cross an energy barrier before they get converted into products. The energy barrier is an imaginary high energy state between the reactants and products. Say here, in this case, it is not that the reactants are there, they'll combine and they'll form the products. No. These reactants should possess the energy equal to some critical energy for collision or the threshold energy for collision. They'll form an active state here and then they'll give the product. Now the energy which is absorbed or the energy is released in the formation of the products. You must be knowing that for breaking a bond, energy is required and the energy is released when the products are formed. So this formation of products is not a downhill process. It requires energy, and the reacting molecules must cross the energy barrier before they are forming the products. And what is this energy barrier? It is a high energy state between the reactant and the products. There is some high energy state in between them. The energy which corresponds to the top of the energy barrier is called as threshold energy. So this is what I am repeating, that the molecule should possess certain minimum energy which is called as a threshold energy, so that their collision leads to the formation of product. Right? A reacting molecule having energy more or equal to threshold energy, that is at the top of energy barrier, is called the activated molecule. So we are taking molecules over here. Now these molecules do not have the energy equal to the threshold energy. Energy is supplied from outside. This gets activated. Activated means these set of molecules are having energy equal to the threshold energy. The average energy of most molecules at room temperature is much lower than the threshold energy. So at room temperature, only small fraction of the molecules are able to react. Now when the reacting molecules gain energy so that its energy is equal to or greater than threshold energy, it can react to form the products. Right? So at room temperature the molecules do not react. Why so? Because they are having less energy. So when energy is provided to it, the molecules gain the energy which is equal to its activation energy, which is equal to its threshold energy, not the activation. The energy becomes equal to the threshold energy and then they react. Now with 10-degree rise in temperature, this fraction of molecules possessing threshold energy gets doubled or even tripled at times. That is why the rate of reaction doubles with the 10 Kelvin rise in temperature or 10-degree rise in temperature. The additional energy which the reacting molecules must acquire over their average energy before they are able to react is called the activation energy of the reactants. That is, activation energy is equal to threshold energy minus the average energy of the reactant molecules. Activation energy is equal to threshold energy minus the average energy of the reactant molecules. That is, the molecules are possessing some energy, they are not combining to form the products, they need energy or their energy should be equal to this minimum energy, that is a threshold energy which is required for the breaking of bonds between the reactants, right? So some energy must be supplied from outside. So that particular energy which is supplied is called as activation energy. Or activation energy is equal to threshold energy minus the average energy of the reactant molecules. In this case, EA is equal to ET minus ER. EA is the activation energy of the reaction. ET is the threshold energy, that is the minimum energy required for the reaction to proceed. ER is the average energy, right? ER is the average energy. And to the activation energy here is given to them so that these molecules are able to cross the energy barrier. This activation energy is given to the molecules so that they cross this energy barrier. So this is the concept of threshold energy and the activation energy. And why is it that for every 10 Kelvin rise in or 10 degrees centigrade rise in temperature, the rate of reaction doubles? Right? So this is all about this session, students. In the next session, we'll be discussing about the Arrhenius equation, which he gave, and we'll solve few numericals also. I hope you have understood the concepts discussed in this session. Say after listening the session, just go through the book. Your concepts would be clear, and moreover the numerical part is very important from this topic. So just go through the books, clear your concepts, and in the next session we'll be discussing about the Arrhenius equation and its applications, right? So thank you very much for listening patiently, and do have a nice time ahead.